Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Uh, Good evening, also for other places in the world. I am George Warte from Multitool Consulting, Portugal. We are here to start the second episode of the Berry Talks conversation with leading players, leading global players, a meeting place to know personalities, companies, and technologies from the berry industry and also from all over the world. I am co-hosting today the second episode with Thomas Darorat from Italian Berry blog from Italy and Siham Zahidi, CEO of Green Smile from Morocco. Hello, Thomas, and how are you? Hello,
Yes,
Siham.
yes, I'm fine. Thanks, Jorge. It's a pleasure to be here again. The first episode of Berry Talks was a real big success worldwide. So we are happy now to be in the second episode.
Hello, everyone. I'm very excited for this second edition of the Berry Talk. I'm sure it will be as successful as the other one.
Yes, I'm sure as well. Today we have three new guests, not just one, three new guests. I'm happy to say hello to Matteo Molari and Luca Molari, and also to Alessandro Gualandi. These three friends come from Molari Berries and Breeding, a very good Italian company established more than 30 years ago. Welcome to everybody.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for the invitation.
Thank you a lot. It's a pleasure.
Hello, everyone. So, welcome to this new edition of the Berry Talk. Can you please tell us more about yourselves, introduce yourself, and tell us more about who you are and your role in the company?
Okay, thank you a lot, and it's a really pleasure for us to be here. And so I'm gonna start telling you something about myself, about my background. So I have a background in economics. I studied economics at the University of Bologna. Then I moved to Milan and I studied marketing and communication in Milan. And I started immediately working for some multinational advertising agency like TBWA, McCann, and so on. And I worked like strategic planning. So I did strategies connecting marketing to communication for such big companies like Apple, like Coca-Cola, like Campari, and so on. Then 2 years ago, I decided to change my life and start in this new job and new life. And today I'm a managing partner and a CEO of Molari Società Agricola and the managing partner of G Berries.
Hello, everyone. Again, many thanks for the invitation. I am Luca Molari. Well, I don't have really that much to tell about my previous experiences as when I joined the family business. I didn't have really a lot of career background behind. Well, I studied law at the university, and then after the university, I decided to specialize myself in the sport business. So I attend a master course in sport business strategy. And after that, I went working for a bike manufacturing company in the marketing team, leading the development of some projects and events. And then I decided to come back to my hometown, working for the local football team, which is now in the third national league, managing all the youth facilities that welcome every day around 600 young football players. And then 2 years ago, as Matteo, I also decided to join the company. And today I am responsible of all the legal affairs and the IP management of our present and future varieties. And in particular, I am the CEO of G Berries, and I am the managing partner together with Matteo of also Molari Berries and Breeding.
Well, it's my side, it's my time. So welcome to everyone. I am Alessandro Gualandi. Right now, I am the varieties development manager in G Berries. By the way, I'm working in this company since already 6 years and a half. Well, my background. I'm born in a family that is involved in agriculture, and since when I was child, I was always outside, touching the soil, touching animals. So I really enjoy to stay outside, and it was important for me to find a work that was able to give me this possibility. I decided to study agriculture, actually. So I took my bachelor degree in Bologna, and then I continued my studies with a master in English in international horticultural science, and this gave me the possibility to study both in Italy and in Germany. In that period, it clearly emerged my passion for the travels, to meet people, and to develop something from the base to the top. And at the same time, in that moment, I almost by chance I started with a stage in Sant'Orsola, that is the Italian leading company in the berry sector. And in that moment, I didn't know too much about berries, actually. In that period also, I was introduced to Gilberto Molari, and we found out to have a good feeling with each other, and he offered me a possibility to work in his company. And at that point, I became his right arm, let's say, in the company, touching transversally different activities, from the nursing management until the development of the market. And I found out that this job actually was exactly giving me all the necessities that I was looking for my job. So possibility to work outside, possibility to travel, and possibilities to develop something from the base to the top. Because actually the sector of the berry is still something that can give a good possibility to grow. And that's how today I am here to talk at this berry talk.
Thank you very much, Alessandro, Luca, and Matteo. I have a question for Matteo. You told us about your background in global communication companies, which are usually involved, as you told us, in big projects, very rich industries, and things like that. That doesn't seem to be much related to agriculture. How is that working? I mean, was it possible for you to bring some of your experience into this berry business, which eventually looks from the outside as an agricultural business, so very basic?
Yeah, I can say that at the beginning, to be completely honest, it was a little bit strange for me. But yeah, I would say that my position, like a planner, because in an advertising agency, we can find different roles. A planner has a daily commitment to connect the marketing strategy of the companies to kind of communication, visual or TV or online or whatever. And so the most important point is to really understand the business of each company you are working for, or each project or whatever. And this for sure really helped me to understand and put my mind and my effort to understand also the agricultural business. Because when the first point I think that is to do a good analysis and a good market analysis, trying to understand all the supply chain, all the actors and the players that work in this kind of business. And so this really helped me to understand this kind of new sector for me, because before I didn't work for sometimes maybe I helped my father with some little topics and some little projects, but it has been the first time 2 years ago. Yes, I would say that for sure. Also, one point that I find out is that the berry industry, especially the berry industry, is today really close to a high level of communication. So there is a big buzz around the industry, and I think that the company to be present worldwide has to surf this kind of waves, this kind of buzz that we find today. And so, yes, I would say that it has not been so difficult to connect my background to the new job. For sure, I had to make some changes and to adapt myself to this new business. But yeah, the background really helped me every day today in this new role.
Thank you very much. Luca, can you also explore that the same question? What it was, what you bring from your background to the new company? Can you explain that, please?
Yeah, well, first of all, as I said before, I am today in charge of all the IP management related to the present and future genetics and varieties that we are developing and releasing. So the first thing that I had to do was to learn a lot about the subject, because although I grew up as a child between thousands of raspberry plants, honestly, I didn't know anything, technically speaking, about berries. The only thing that I knew as a consumer was that I really liked to eat them. So during these 2 years, I had to learn a lot, especially by Alessandro. Alessandro did really a great job with me and Matteo, acting as a teacher and teaching us everything, technically speaking, that we needed to know. And we feel every day that we still have a lot to learn from him. Well, said that, I think that the IP management is a good sum between legal skills, marketing strategy, and also the relation management. And I always say, and I always think that somehow my previous little experiences that I had led me to be quite ready for this kind of challenge, because actually I managed in my previous experience to mesh up the legal studies with the marketing activities that I did for in the sport business. And of course, when we started working in the company 2 years ago, it was like jumping on a moving train. So we didn't have a lot of time to stop and think and before acting. So this also led us to commit some mistakes, of course. But now, today, we can say that also those mistakes helped us a lot to understand better and to learn better the berry business. So honestly, I think that it was quite easy for me to start this kind of activity. Of course, we still need time to learn and to improve ourselves, but today we feel quite ready to also to launch some new strategies at a global level. That will be the sum, basically, of what we learned of our previous experience, and also, of course, of what our father Gilberto left us as a kind of heritage, and so we feel quite ready for this kind of activities inside the company.
Okay, thank you. For Matteo and Luca, also the question that did you find difficulty in transitioning from what you were doing before and the company you find actually you had to keep managing after your father died a couple of years ago? What you can tell us about that?
Oh, so at the beginning, for sure, it was not easy. But because first of all, for the bureaucracy, because when that kind of thing happens, you have to do a lot of paper, and it has been, I would say, the most difficult part. And then we started trying to understand every day what happened inside the company, what are all the steps that the people and our guys, our collaborators, our workers, every day. Also putting our hands in the soil and in some activities, because I think that to understand better every kind of stuff, you have to put yourself making this kind of stuff. And so yes, it has not been an easy travel, but I would say that after 2 years today, it's an exciting travel, and that's the most important thing, because some ways we can say that we enjoy ourselves every day. We can think at new project, new things, trying to make every steps in the right way. So yes, it has been a good moment, and but for sure not easy, but a good one. That way, I would say.
Yes, if I can add something, as Matteo said, managing a company is always a matter of up and downs. You have some really good days full of enthusiasm, and some bad days full of problems. We needed time also to learn this, and also, of course, it was even more difficult for us because we started actually a completely new activity for both in a moment which was particularly complicated for all the world due to the pandemic restrictions. So we didn't even have the chance to travel to go and visit our long-lasting partners. So we needed to wait. Luckily, all the technologies somehow helped us, because in this way we managed to connect with all the people, and it was important for us to really to feel from the first moment also the legacy that our father left us. All the partners worldwide were really sticking tight to us, and were willing to help us, and in that particular moment, in that difficult moment, it was really important for us to feel that kind of help from all the partners in the world.
Thank you. Alessandro, I have a question for you. You present the past with Gilberto Mollari, and then you suddenly lost your first man, Gilberto, in the beginning of the pandemics, and you had two new bosses and two new faces handling the company. What it was before, and what you had to face on that moment, and what is now. Can you explain and elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, well, surely now there are differences, but that's normal. Different people, different habits, and different, of course, way to work. Actually, I think that Gilberto created a fantastic base. He was already thinking ahead, actually, to what the company could become. And I think that Luca and Matteo continued this job, doing it in a different way, doing it with their own capacities and their own skills, of course. So, in some way, where we are going, it was already thought since before by Gilberto. The way we are doing it is different. I think that Luca and Matteo in particular brought, let's say, a different culture of work that is not typical in the agricultural sector, I think, or at least I perceived their way to work as different from what I was used to. And I think that they actually created a system, an environment into the office and into the company in world, in which it's easier now probably to develop new ideas. They enlarge it, like the limits where we can reach, as a company, and in this way, it's possible to develop new ideas and new ways of business. I think that these are the main differences.
Okay, good to know from some information from the past of the company and the new company and the new faces. I'm going to pass now to my colleague Siham.
Well, let's take a break and have Thomas talk about a report from Fruit Logistica.
Yes, we have been at Fruit Logistica, which is basically the key event for the fresh produce industry in the world, and it's been a very good event. Even if there were less visitors, like exhibitors, at the end, I think that the quality of the participants and the meetings has been very interesting. In particular, I would say for the berry industry, where we have had the possibility to meet growers from all over the world, traders based in the main trading hubs like Holland, England, and the United States. And there was a lot of talks and a lot of excitement about the berry industry, which is still one of the best performing categories all around the world. I would like to point the attention to one big novelty we have seen at Fruit Logistica, which was announced a few weeks ago by Driscoll, which is the new packaging concept, which was clearly displayed on their stand. I think that it's from a marketing perspective, it's very interesting concept, very fresh, very innovative, very colorful, very bright. And therefore, it's very appealing when you look at it on the shelves, as you can see here on their virtual supermarket they had set up on their own stand. On the other hand, I heard a lot of people talking about also side issues on this packaging, because while it's been definitely, from a marketing perspective, a very good operation, on the other side, not everybody was convinced about the impact on the consumer, because basically berries is quite a delicate category. And in this case, for example, the consumer has not the possibility to see all the berries inside. We have seen from our retail monitors in Italy, for example, that 6% of the punnets you see on the shelves are in really bad condition as a whole. I'm not talking about Driscoll, but generally when you find punnets on the shelves. So not giving the possibility to the consumer to check the quality of the fruit is a bit of a risk, probably. Also, in terms of the fruit itself, probably this is not the best packaging to improve 100% the shelf life. And some specialists of packaging also were pointing out that probably the carbocarton, which is what 94% of this packaging is made of, is not the most sustainable solution if we look at the problem overall in terms of sustainability for the environment and for the raw material. So it's an interesting operation what Driscoll did, but from my point of view, it's not so black and white. So we are very keen to see how it will work on the markets. That's all from Fruit Logistica.
Thank you, Thomas, for the update from the fair from a few days ago. We have now, we're going to go back to our guests. Tell us, Matteo, what kind of new projects, since you start the company or you take over the company and you start to develop with your brother and also your team. Can you explain us what's going on?
Okay, so I would say that the first project we have to speak about is the new company we launched 1 year ago that is called G Berries. For sure, it's quite easy to understand that G stays for Gilberto, but also for genetics. So our father, Gilberto, already thought that way to, as Alessandro said before, to bring the company in the next future. So to split the previous company, the Molari, as the people already know has. And so the last year, at the beginning of 2021, me and Luca decided to go in that direction and to launch G Berries. So G Berries today is a company focused on breeding, focused on applied research, and also on IP management. We can say that we define G Berries like a platform, not really like a company. That is, the main platform is something that for us it sounds better. And the thought and the idea behind the berries is that when our father launched the most famous varieties we have right now, like Rosadira, for example, it was quite easy. The market was not so full of new varieties, of new players, and so on. And it was easy to find a kind of varieties that works and works well for everyone. Today, for us, it's not like that. Today, every growers, every company, every traders has different needs and for sure different goals. So the idea for G Berries is to go in the direction of a kind of customized approach of customized breeding, working with a long-lasting relationship. And for sure, G Berries is ready to launch a big project in Europe that we are going to speak in the next month, not now. And but we already launched something similar outside Europe, and it's already known. For example, with Dole in Mexico, we have a partnership in the next for the next years. And so, what is Molari today? Molari today is a nursery. We have two companies: G Berries for breeding, research, and IP management, and Molari for the production of plants. We decided, first of all, to point out a high quality of the plants we are going to sell with Molari, because we think that plants are not just plants, are the first step of an experience in the world of berries. And so we think that every growers deserve the best first step. And these are two, the berries for sure is the most important project we launched. We launched also a new project that is called I Frutti di Sil. That is a fruit production project. It's very small. It's a local production project with two goals. The first one is to bring on the table of the people in our region high quality level of fruits. But the most important goal of this project is to connect all the dots of our small group to have the chance to test commercially our new genetics, our new material. And so we decided to launch this project to connect all the dots. I would say that two are the main projects we launched. We are working now building new facilities, building a new lab. It was for sure for Molari in the production, especially of blueberries and blackberries. In vitro lab is crucial. So we are working to build this one. By the end of the year, we'll be ready. And so we are really excited about that. It's a very big project, a very big investment for our company. And the funny thing I would say about this lab is that we decided to build it it was a project of our father. I think that the last project of our father, and we decided to build the structure really similar to a home, not an industrial building. And it's something that is for us is not just aesthetic, but it's really, really important, because we think that our people, our guys, deserve a good place, and so that way for us it is the best one. So we designed the lab with all the characteristics that it seems really a home. And yeah, I would say that are the three main projects. We have something in our pockets, but for sure in the next month something will happen, I would say.
Thanks for the overview. Alessandro, can you tell us more about your portfolio of varieties, raspberries, blackberries, and blueberries?
Yeah, surely. So we have, we as Molari Berries and Breeding, we have, let's say, a quite wide portfolio of varieties that is actually in the last period and in the next period. So in this moment of our life, let's say, it's evolving. Regarding raspberries, I would like to mention briefly about Rosadira, that is our flag around the world, I would say, successfully grown in many countries, in many places, and in different climates. But beside this, we have also other materials, such as Aurora, for instance, that is a late Primocane variety, mostly successful as a floricane type. So for the floricane production, excellent taste, big size fruit, good shelf life. And then we have two varieties that we are trying to design for specific purposes, such as Halley, that it's a Primocane type, thornless, with a nice fruit, sweet taste, and that we think it's matching perfectly the necessities of the hobbies of a hobby farmer to have in his own garden, for instance. Or we have also Dorothea, that it's a floricane type that we think has an excellent taste. And for this reason, we think that it's very suitable for growers who want to have a premium taste in their own fruit that they sell. Then regarding raspberries, we have from the breeding program is coming out some new selections that are in the pipeline and are going to be tested quite widely along this year. And but more concrete, we have two new materials named still with a code. That is AL45 and AL111. These two materials have been bred in the north of Italy in an area with a very hot and humid summer, and on the other side with a cold winter. So quite extreme climate, let's say. And these two materials are going to give an improvement in terms of yield and easiness of growth for the grower themselves. So the grower who will grow these varieties, they will have a Primocane variety who is also very productive, and that gives an help to the grower to reduce the cost of labor. Then we have blueberries. Blueberries, we produce plants of different varieties, commercial varieties, but I would like to make a focus on Titanium and Megas Blue, that are two high chill varieties. Titanium, it's an early ripening variety. strong and resistant to the cold. With an excellent taste and shelf life, mostly suitable for the growth in pots or in a perfect soil. Megas Blue, it's a high chill, but with a medium. It is ripening in the medium period of as an high chill with a big fruit size, good taste still, and with an high yield, possibility of high yield. We think that this variety can be dedicated also for growers who want to have machine harvesting if necessary. And then regarding the blackberries, we are right now enlarging the portfolio of varieties. Beside the commercial and traditional varieties such as Loch Ness and Owashita, we have we can make a focus on Primark 45 and Natseth, that are two well-known varieties. Primark 45, it's a Primocane type with excellent taste and high yield. Natseth, it's an early Floricane type, suitable also for growth in southern climates. And then I would like to mention in particular the fact that Molari is one of the few nurseries in Europe that can propagate since now the most advanced materials from the renewed breeding program of the University of Arkansas, thanks to the agreement that we had with MCOCA. In particular, we think and we believe that this will help the market of the blackberries to develop because of the quality of these materials. There are 3 Primocanes in particular and 4 Floricanes. And I would like especially to mention about APF 122, that is a Primocane one, known in Europe as Mari Carmen, with an excellent taste. And also Caddo and Ponca, that are going to be probably two of the most interesting Floricane type because of their excellent taste, good shelf life, and low red regression. That is very important when we talk about blackberries. The last blackberry that I would like to mention is actually a selection that comes out from our own breeding program. It's named M06. It's a late Floricane type, thornless, vigorous plant. The fruit in particular is what is outstanding us because of his excellent taste, medium fruit size, and we found out that he's having an excellent post-harvest life. So we think that this material can have really a good impact on the market. And actually, along this year, we are going to test it quite widely all around Europe. To conclude about the varieties, I would like to mention that just to put an insight that in the next period we are going to bring in Europe some new and very good materials of blueberry, low chill blueberries, and this will help us to introduce ourselves also in this type of varieties that is in this moment quite missing from our portfolio.
Thank you, Alessandro. I have a quick question about blackberries. I hear you are very passionate about blackberries because you spend a lot of time talking about these new varieties. I think that there is a lot of potential on blackberries because in particular on the Italian domestic market, people don't really understand the product yet. Last year in 2021, the consumption went down 2%, which is a negative trend compared to the whole category, which has grown by 26%. But I think that also overall, worldwide, there is still a lot of potential for blackberries because the varieties we have seen so far have not performed 100% in terms of taste. What do you think? Which are the trends? Is it more towards a tart taste varieties or more the sweet varieties?
So we think that it's really important to find out varieties that can give and can guarantee a good taste, a constant good taste. Why I say constant? Because normally when we buy a punnet of blackberries, we may find maybe one good blackberry taste, and the next one is not good, and the third one even worse. Maybe there are also sometimes problems in the color of the fruit that is not constantly dark black as we have to expect a blackberry, but maybe because of the problem of the red regression, we can find bad tasting fruits and not well colored. So the variety that we want to bring to the market are varieties that must have a good taste, a good constant taste, and a good constant color too. This is what we can. This is the way that we can help the market to grow. And then, of course, there is an important role played by the grower and the reseller.
Thank you. Luca, breeding protected varieties requires some exquisite norms to be compliant to today's intellectual property regulations. Can you explain how difficult it is nowadays to adapt to these regulations and your role in the company? How did you find it managing these issues?
Well, yes. First of all, I agree with you, Thomas. Protecting a variety nowadays really demanding for some really particular knowledge and also some really particular rules to be followed. For sure, in the first year, 1 year and a half, I had really to. It was like coming back to university and study. It was really a completely different subject for me, and so I had to learn a lot about the rules and about everything that was required by every kind of state, because every country actually has different, quite different requests for patenting a variety and also for protecting the variety after the patent. Well, today I can say that I feel quite confident and comfortable in this subject. For sure, we are also helped by one of the biggest lawyer office specialized in IP management and in the patenting in Italy. So we are quite lucky to be assisted by them. And my previous experiences, as I said before, I think that somehow the sum of them to be quite ready and quite prepared to do this kind of activity inside the company, because the IP management is not only really a matter of legal skills. It's also a matter of immediately finding the right positioning and the right marketing strategy for a genetic that seems good enough to go commercial. So what we are usually doing is to define the strategy of the genetic once that we decide it's good enough. So our agreements, our contracts are immediately in that direction, are meant to define really in a clear way the strategy that is lying behind the variety. And also, as I said before, is also really a matter of managing the relations with the company. So day by day, sticking tight to the necessities, to the supply chain, also of plants of the variety. This probably was the most complicated part, because I was used to work with bikes, and to build the bikes it takes one day. To build a good plant, it can take really a lot more than one day. So that was absolutely the most complicated part. And but in general, as I said, we committed some mistakes, but now we feel quite more relaxed and more comfortable in this kind of environment, and we are also starting to enjoying the berry business. And you mentioned before the Freight Logistica. I've been there for the first time, and I really enjoyed also the fact that now, after 2 years, we are starting to connect with people, to know them personally, to be well known by all the actors in the industry. And so it's now I am feeling good in the IP management, and I don't see more the difficulties that I was seeing 2 years ago, actually.
I think that IP management has a strict relation also with your commercial strategies, because there are definitely countries where there is not enough protection for intellectual property. So how has that affected your commercial development plans?
Well, I think we need to divide the topic into two aspects. One is the varieties that we already released since years, and with those one, of course, we are managing them carefully. But for example, we open sometimes to specific projects in countries in which we think it's more complicated, as you said, to protect a variety. In those countries, we prefer to work one-to-one, so with exclusive relations with just one company, knowing them and feeling confident that they will respect, as all the other partners, the agreements that we have. For the new genetics, for the new selections that we are going to release, our strategy in this moment is more focused with the main commercial countries in all the continents. Starting from Mexico, Morocco, the Europe, Australia, and so on. So the countries in which we also feel that we are more that the varieties will be safe and well protected. Then, of course, it's a matter of finding the right partners in those countries, for sure. It's really a matter of working one by one and being sure that the company has the same interest that we have in protecting the variety and not letting the variety to be spread all over the country.
Thank you, Lucas, for sharing your experience. Matteo, can you please tell us where we can find your company on the web, and also where the growers and retailers can find you on the internet?
For sure. So for sure, we have a website that we are going to rebuild in the next month. But so we have our website. But I would say that the most important channel, we started building it 2 years ago. It's our LinkedIn. Since a couple of weeks, we have 3 different pages for our project. So you can find people can find the page of Molari Società Agricola with all our plants and our materials of G-Berries, and that is a dedicated page. And for sure, in the next weeks, some new contents will be on the page, and also of I40 Digital. So I would say that LinkedIn is our most important channel. we decided to focus on that one because our business is mainly, I would say, 90%, and I would say that maybe in the next future will be 100% B2B. The B2C is just something that we do for some growers in our region, but not so important for us. And so LinkedIn is for sure the most important one. Then we have also Facebook page, but also Instagram page with different targets. And we are trying also to manage the channels speaking different languages for different targets. So I would say that we are quite present. Then for sure we used to collaborate also with some blogs or some magazine that are 2 or 3 in the world right now. And so sometimes you can find some news about us also on the magazines. And yeah, we are quite present on the web, and we will be more and more present on the web. So that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We had a very interesting conversation with a company which was established 30 years ago, but has received a new boost 2 years ago when this new generation was suddenly brought into the company because of the sudden disappearance of Gilberto, who was a very nice friend and a passionate professional in the berry business. The company has built on a very strong heritage, and now there are several interesting projects, both on a worldwide basis, but also on a very local basis. I like the fact that they wanted to connect all dots and range from breeding down to selling directly to the consumers. So I think it was a very interesting conversation, and I'm happy to have hosted Matteo Molari, Luca Molari, and Alessandro Gualandi for this second episode of Berry Talks. What do you say, Jorge? What do you think?
Well, it was a very interesting conversation. Of course, we already know each other for a few years, and it's always good to get not only people from the business, but we can call it, we can have some friendship also inside of the industry, and we can share our experiences with each other and also with a major audience. This is it was an important episode because Gilberto Molari was a very important person in the berry industry in Italy. And I would like to thank all of you, especially the Molari family, to let us give the possibility to make this tribute to your father and your family legacy in the berry businesses. And of course, once again, to our viewers, we have a new generation coming to the industry, which is we applaud all the time. Sometimes we doubt the abilities of transitioning from a different business to the industry of berries, but they are really quite agile to learn, and they are keen to learn also with other people that have more experience, which is something wonderful to see. For our viewers, again, thank you for staying with us for almost an hour, which is an achievement for a second episode. Thank you, Thomas, Siham, Alexandro, Matteo, and Luca for having the possibility to share your experiences with us. Stay tuned for more Berry Talks, and the slogan I have is "Let's talk about berries." Let's wait for new episodes. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.